Alright friends, we've got ourselves a brand new featured location. Now for those that might be new to the game, featured locations for the next 48 hours have a 40% chance of arriving. And this featured location, KLYNTAR or KLYNTAR, man, I don't even know how to say it, whatever, is basically after turn 4, merge your cards here into a symbiote. Now the important thing to understand here is, first of all, symbiotes apparently are like Venom and Carnage. Cool. The second thing to understand is that it is a one cost that gets rid of all of its prior abilities. So if it's like an ongoing card, it doesn't have the ongoing effect anymore. And that's important to know based on the decks I'm about to show you. Now, the one thing I'm going to say before we get into the decks is that, like, it's so important to understand that these only have a 40% chance of arriving. If you completely tech everything you build around just this location, you're going to get clapped. 60% of the time, you're going to lose every time because you're only playing for that 40% chance. So the best decks for featured locations like this are the ones that kind of deal with the featured location, can take advantage of the featured location, but also make just good sense. Like, they're just good, otherwise perfect working decks. So in this guide, I'm going to show you those decks. Now, you might be thinking, Alex, what about Pool 1 and 2? Well, you know what, my friend, I got answers for you because, first of all, this year is a Pool 3 list, and you might be thinking, Alex, that's not Pool 1 and 2. You promised me Pool 1 and 2 decks. Well, this is what you do. You take whatever your favorite deck is in Pool 1 and 2. You add one of these two cards. Ready? You add Elektra, and this is literally your counter. I actually believe that this location is a nothing burger. You actually don't have to play into it. If your opponent is going to play into it and accept the fact that they're going to get their cheeks clapped, then that's totally fine. Because believe it or not, this one-cost Elektra is going to destroy the entire symbiote. Can you believe that? It actually completely deletes it because it's a one-cost card. Conversely, Killmonger also wipes it out completely. So if you're in Pool 2, just add Killmonger. Pool 1, add Elektra to whatever deck you're playing. Pool 2, add Killmonger. That's not Killmonger. This is Killmonger to whatever deck you're playing. Boom! You got a Pool 1 and 2 deck list. That's all you've got to do. Don't feed into it. Let your opponent like a moron feed into it, and then just trade it with either Killmonger or Elektra. Seriously, this location is like the easiest in the world to play around. In fact, this is why I believe this is the best deck for it. Now, I don't often like to say, okay, whatever my YouTube title say, everything's the best deck in the world, I know. But seriously, if you're looking for a top tier, actual legit high win rate deck, first of all, I have gameplay proof to show later on that, like, we actually tested this deck. It was great. It was great. And this list is fantastic because it essentially allows you to completely deal with the symbiote. If someone's feeding into it 100%, then it doesn't matter. Basically, the way it works is like this. It is a Silver Surfer list that utilizes Polaris in order to basically, on turn 6, in conjunction with Sarah, so you have 3 cards, you basically play either Killmonger to kill the symbiote, but if you don't draw Killmonger, it's fine. You can get Kingpin, and then what happens is if they armor their symbiote, which is common, you basically pull the symbiote out from armor, Polaris pulls it out from the armored location, and then you got your Kingpin that gives it the good old smack, takes it out, and you just win the trade. It's so easy. And even before that, before they play armor, before whatever the hell's happening, you just play Elektra and take it out. Like, you literally just ignore the location. You play a standard Surfer deck with Sarah, and you just win the game. It's so easy. If you don't want to play the previous list I just talked about, because as I said, it's too easy, then you can consider playing something like this ramp list, which is actually pretty cool too. Now, there's a couple things working here, so I want to kind of bear mention to it. Now, the first thing is you are running Electro. It's the whole basis of the ramp list. Now, with Electro, the cool thing is you play the Electro into the symbiote location. When Electro gets merged, what happens is you keep the max 1 energy, but the ongoing effect of only being able to play 1 card disappears. That's beautiful because it allows you later on to actually counter that play with Elektra. So basically what happens is you can basically play Electro, you can only play 1 card on turn 4, the symbiote merger happens, and now you can play Elektra in conjunction with Vision, Doctor Doom, or whatever, because even on turn 6, you have 7 mana. So that Elektra play is available to you to counter the opponent's symbiote. So there's a lot of interesting synergy here. If you wish as well, you can Maximus on turn 4 and then follow up on turn 5 with Leech and make them completely hate themselves. But if you Electro, you can actually turn 4 Leech, which also is pretty damn miserable for the opposing team. But either way, the key thing is here is if you play the Electro into this symbiote location, the ongoing negativity of you can only play one card is rectified. And that is essentially how you play this list. And then you got the leader for the 6 play, why wouldn't you? But anyways, this is a really good list, and I actually found myself successfully playing Vision as well. Now, I originally tested it with Killmonger, but I found that Killmonger was really awkward to play because you have these 6s, like, you just don't want to play Killmonger. Like, you just don't want to play it. The only option would have been to play Killmonger in conjunction with Maximus, but the combo wasn't coming up as often as I would have liked. So I added Vision instead of the Killmonger to basically allow you to give you the optionality to move as you see fit in order to make some high tempo plays. Regardless, I do think this deck is pretty damn solid too. All right, I'm going to include this deck too because like Twitch chat was like adamant that they believed a Patriot list would work well. I think this list is mediocre. I tested it a bunch of times. I never truly felt fully confident in it, but I wanted to include it in the video because I know people are interested in Patriot with this symbiote because it has no abilities, and so Patriot theoretically benefits. You would have to protect it with armor. You would want to trade theirs with Elektra, and of course the standard Brood works. Now the problem is that like usually you like to play Onslaught here, but with the symbiote and the merger of that location, you often lack the added pressure. And so while Brood is beneficial to kind of zoo out and provide pressure, I found that Dr. Doom was a little better, especially since the Doom bots do get the Patriot buff itself. So I felt that this was overall a better list, but honestly, I'm including it because I know people are interested in it. But I'm telling you right now, for straight up cubes, the first one I talked about was better. The second one I talked about, like the one that like literally just now, the ramp deck, is still better than this one. If you really want to play Patriot, you can. I think this one's like third, and it's a far third. I think the other two are significantly stronger. This deck might be sus, but you know what's not? This next gameplay highlight that I'm about to show you guys, it's a lot of fun, and it kind of showcases the value of this list and how you can completely counter a symbiote lineup. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay clip, and we'll see you in that next Marvel Snap video. We got the feature location. Let's go. We got it. We can test it. Now, again, we are all about countering it here. We don't actually care so much about the actual the location or utilizing it or whatever. We just want to counter it. I think we play Groot into it. We hold the Nova for a moment. Yeah, there it is. Good job. Good job. Gamer waves. Okay. Not what I expected. We're going to storm here. We have Silver Surfer. We have options here. We also have our Kingpin, and remember, we're able to trade into the symbiote, so we're not too worried about it. Now, the problem is that we're not set up for a wave play, so he should be able to get additional value, so he does. We go Brood here. We can Kingpin mid, which allows us to pull. Okay, White Tiger, so he's giving this location, which is fine. So he's giving the flooded location, which is absolutely fine. The symbiote gets made. It's a 1-drop. He snaps. He snaps on me. I don't want him to fill this location. So I drop this. I play this. I hold these two. So the key thing to understand here is that this is a 1 cost. So we can destroy it easily with the Polaris pull here. He pulls... Okay, the play of Daredevil is really interesting here because it actually prevents me from reliably pulling the symbiote. But we get Killmonger. So now both Daredevil and symbiote are guaranteed to die. Symbiote comes over. Gets destroyed by Kingpin. That's the Polaris play. Ironically, we destroy our own symbiote, which is fine because we give that location. We buff up the other ones. And we cleanly win with Silver Surfer. This deck's absolutely clutch. Okay, whatever, dude. Legit almost a good play with Leader, too. Like, he played a great card in Leader, but you can see the amount of value we generated there simply by, like, completely countering the symbiote. He actually almost got us with that Leader play. He got lucky because he was able to replicate the Polaris. Getting it as a 12, like, is pretty damn good. But, like, we still get the win. And you can see that, like, if we play around this as if it doesn't matter and we actually allow our opponent to bait themselves into relying on it, we can absolutely clap their cheeks.